It has been over a year since Survivors of the Void was released, unless you play on console, in which case it was released like yesterday. And with a year of no new releases or content, Risk of Rain returns with Risk of Rain Returns. And I must say, right off the bat, this game looks way better than the series has ever looked. Not to say that Risk of Rain 2's visuals were bad, it's fine. It's something about the textures and the lighting that make the game look and feel a little bit plasticky, almost like you're playing as action figures rather than characters. This is not the case of Returns. The pixel art is beautiful, with incredible detail and vibrant colors. The enemies seem so much more alive. You can feel the coarseness of the stone golem, the heat from the wisp, and the weird kind of gummy bear softness of the gump. The monsters move in their own unique ways. You can really feel the weight in each step, and the environments they occupy are stunning. You travel the world of Protractor 5 in just 5 short stages and are brought through caverns, lakes, meadows, and beaches. Each stage is visually distinct, depicted through detailed pixel art, but foreground and background elements can sometimes blend together and lose visual clarity. The music, as always, is incredible, and the sound design is perfect. I love the bone-crunching sound when your survivor hits the ground every time you fall, and that stupid fucking snow state! The care present within the monsters and the world they inhabit also bleeds into the survivors. They're all super diverse with unique playstyles. The carefree running gun feel of Huntress, the balls-to-the-walls melee bashing of Loader, and the gunslinging action of Bandit. There really is a character for everybody in this game. The items are creative with fun interactions, and while less common than in Risk of Rain 2, are across the board far stronger and more impactful. You can't force builds in this game, so you have to be much smarter in how you play around your build rather than how you build around your play. Unlocks in this game are a lot more reasonable without losing the challenge behind them. There are now 2 ways to unlock alternative abilities through events that can naturally occur over the course of a number of runs, or through the Province Trials, short minigames that showcase each ability with varying levels of fun and creativity. This all comes together to make an almost arcade-like roguelite, shortening the Risk of Rain experience while preserving the intensity and upping the difficulty, and when I say upping the difficulty, I really mean it. You see, what people don't tell you is that Risk of Rain 2 is actually a baby game, made for babies, because of how easy it is. I have never died playing Risk of Rain 2 before in my life, and neither should you, and if you have, you should feel bad and be embarrassed, because you're a baby. In Risk of Rain 2, even on its most difficult level, you could afford to spend 5 to 7 minutes on each stage. In Returns, you do not have this luxury. The difficulty of the game scales quite quickly, so you have to leave each stage as fast as possible. This wouldn't be such an issue if it wasn't for the reduction of character mobility. Maps are big, bigger than ever, but characters are slow and the timer is more important than ever. I feel that if any 2 of these 3 elements were present in the game, it wouldn't be such a big deal, but with all of them, sometimes the teleporter just spawns on the other side of the map, and if you're not lucky enough to find a movement speed item, your run might just be over right there. Flying enemies are bastards. One of the innovations of Risk of Rain 2 was that the characters discovered that by craning their neck up slightly, they could shoot targets in the air, but unfortunately this game takes place before that moment in the timeline, so we currently do not have this privilege. Some flying enemies are fine, like the jellyfish or the birds, but these wasp fuckers, they need to be abolished, and God forbid one of these fucks spawns as an overloading. About half of the flying enemies feel as if they were designed for a different game, which is really annoying seeing as how prevalent they are in later stages. These 2 elements lead to deaths in this game, feeling a lot more bullshit and random than in 2. Maybe I'm just skill issue baby rage mad, but in 2, I feel that almost all of my deaths had very clear, tangible reasons that I could have either avoided if I was better, or I could look back at and identify one or a few choices that led to my death. The reason you lose is almost always in your control, and I felt this way even when I first picked up the game. I do not feel the same for Risk of Rain Returns. When you do not get certain items, your run is over. When you get a bad teleporter spawn, your run is over. When you get overloading flying enemies, your run is over. Not every run is meant to be won, this is true for both games, but in 2, a run loss is 100% your fault. In Returns, sometimes the game just decides it's time for the run to end. And I don't want people to think that I'm saying the game needs to be easier. I'm fine with the game being hard. I like the faster timer. I like the items are more sparse but more powerful. What's annoying is that some of the difficulty of the game comes from the fact that the game throws obstacles at you that you literally do not have the options to deal with because you weren't lucky enough to roll into them, rather than the difficulty coming from how you use your ability to execute using the options available to you. I would love to see the ability to either aim at the diagonal or for the movement of characters to be increased. It doesn't ruin the experience, but it definitely hampers it at times. I find myself wanting to play Risk of Rain 2 after a run in Returns more than I would like. This game may have come out after Risk of Rain 2, but it's a remake of Risk of Rain 1, and it definitely feels it in ways that aren't always good. Risk of Rain Returns still has the charm and passion of the series, but it also has problems that are answered in Risk of Rain 2. The devs have apparently said they will be including mouse aiming to the game, which will make the controls feel less clunky, which gives me hope that the two things that I think stop this game from being better than 2 will someday be addressed, especially as I don't think it's too complicated to do so, but as of now, the game is still fine. At the end of the day, it's Risk of Rain. It's still fun. It's still definitely worth the money to buy it. I just wouldn't recommend it to as many people as I would recommend 2. But actually, Artificer sucks in this game, so it's the worst game I've ever played.